Wait, you're a Bears fan and you're not subscribed to my channel? Before this video starts, make sure to 1. Hit the subscribe button below to catch all Bears content right here on this podcast. 2. Hit the bell notification because you, my friend, are a diehard Bears fan. And 3. Like this video and tell all the Bears fans you know about the channel. Alright, that's better. Now that you're actually subscribed to the channel, make sure to bear down and enjoy this video.
Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan. That boy is Benny Hunter. Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down, bear down.
Bears fans. I had to come on here and do another podcast today. And I know this podcast, a lot of you guys may not agree with me. And that is totally okay. I invite people to challenge me and give me their opinions. But on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, this is my opinion, and it's a very strong opinion. Brian Daboll should be the next Chicago Bears head coach. After last night's domination over a Bill Belichick New England Patriots team, a pretty good New England Patriots team, Daboll should be the next Chicago Bears head coach. I'm not sure if you guys were able to watch the game, or if you guys saw highlights of the game, or even saw stats of the game. After what Daboll did last night to that Patriots defense, a 47-17 win over a good New England Patriots team. A game where in the first 7 possessions, Daboll and the Buffalo Bills offense scored a touchdown on 7 straight drives. An absolute masterpiece. And the whole time, I'm just sitting there thinking, while I'm watching the game, well, damn, if he's doing this, I'm just thinking, man, what could he possibly do with Justin Fields? You can't sit here as a Bears fan and not just be curious to think what Brian Daboll would be able to do with Justin Fields. Let's go over the offensive drives. I just want to go over it on this podcast just in case you guys missed it, and I'm pretty sure you guys didn't because I'm reading the comments from the last podcast I just posted yesterday. You guys saw it. You guys saw that masterpiece of a game that Daboll dialed up in yesterday's huge win over the Patriots. So let's look at this. 9 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. 10 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. 10 plays, 81 yards, touchdown. 4 plays, 89 yards, touchdown. 6 plays, 58 yards and a touchdown. 9 plays, 72 yards and a touchdown. 3 plays, 39 yards and a touchdown. That is the first 7 possessions of the game. They were all touchdown drives. An absolute masterpiece from Brian Daboll and that Buffalo Bills offense. And I just want to ask you guys this before I move on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. How could you not be curious on what Daboll would be able to do with Justin Fields after last night's game? Comment down below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. How could you not just be curious? Because to me, I'm all in. And I was all in before that game. But after watching what they did in the game that he called, I am definitely all in. And I hope the McCaskies were watching that game last night too. And I hope they're all in. I feel like they've interviewed a lot of pretty decent candidates. But what he was able to do last night was, man, got me really hyped up to imagine what he could actually do with Justin Fields. I'm looking for a coach that can elevate Justin Fields' game, that can develop Justin Fields into the quarterback that I think we all expect Justin Fields to be. He did it with Josh Allen. So why couldn't he do it with Justin Fields? For me, like I said, I was already all in on Brian Daboll. When you look at his resume, it's pretty impressive. But for me, when you look at Brian Daboll, he's been with Josh Allen every step of his development, starting in 2018. He has a long established history of calling plays. So this is not Matt Nagy 2.0. where when Matt Nagy came from Kansas City, we weren't sure if Matt Nagy was actually calling the plays or was it Andy Reid. Comes to find out, it was actually Andy Reid. And like I mentioned before in past podcasts, he has worked under Bill Belichick, Mangini, and Nick Saban. His resume is absolutely ridiculous. Bears fans, I am all in on Brian Daboll being the next Chicago Bears head coach. And I would say that I'm overreacting, but I feel like I'm not. I feel like the proof is in the pudding. Look what he was able to do with Josh Allen. And I can repeat this until I'm blue in the face. Josh Allen's rookie year wasn't very good. Bring in Brian Daboll. He develops Josh Allen. And now Josh Allen is a freaking superstar. What's there not to like about Brian Daboll? And that brings me to my next point. I read the comments. I see the concerns that some Bears fans are having about possibly bringing in Daboll as the next Chicago Bears head coach. So let's talk about them. And I want to try to sit here and prove to you guys why you shouldn't be worried about these concerns that you're having about Daboll. One of the comments I've been seeing on past podcasts is that Josh Allen has regressed this year under Daboll. Well, let's take a look at it. In 2020, Josh Allen had over 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. This year, he had over 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. To me, I don't see very much of a regression. And to add to that, when is the last time a Chicago Bears quarterback threw over 4,000 yards? That's what I see. What I see is Brian Daboll was able to develop Josh Allen into a very good young quarterback. A quarterback that has respect around the league. And once again, Josh Allen did not look good his rookie year. Does that remind you of anybody? Justin Fields. His rookie season wasn't anything to write home about. He had some splash plays here and there, but it wasn't anything to write home about. Wouldn't you be interested to see what Daboll would be able to do with Justin Fields? Obviously, Josh Allen's a bigger quarterback. But other than that, I feel that Justin Fields is just as athletic, has a really good arm just like Josh Allen, and possibly is faster than Josh Allen. So for me, I don't see much of a regression. To me, I see consistency here. I think it's impressive what Daboll has been able to do with Josh Allen. The second thing I'm seeing in a lot of the comments is saying the Bills have a terrible run game. So I looked up the stats. I was curious. I was like, you know what? Do they actually have a terrible run game? Or are these Bears fans just yanking my sack right now? This season, the Bills ranked 6th in rush yards per game, averaging 132.4 yards per game. And the thing that's impressive about that is when you look at the Buffalo Bills, they have Devin Singletary as their main back, McKenzie as their backup running back, and then they run Josh Allen a lot. And then when you look at what Brian Daboll would have in Chicago, he would be working with David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, and a healthy Tariq Cohen, along with Justin Fields' ability to run the football as well. So to me, it looks like stats don't lie here, and that the Buffalo Bills actually don't have a terrible running game. So I'm not sure if these stats are wrong or if your guys' concerns are wrong. And I'm not trying to be on this podcast trying to blast you guys. I'm just saying what the stats say. And the stats don't lie. I feel like, to me, I'm all in on Brian Daboll. And obviously, you guys can comment down below in the comment section and tell me I'm wrong. But it's just my opinion. And I will respect your opinion. And we can talk about it. But at the moment, I think there is no more discussion. I think they should cancel all the interviews and hire Brian Daboll as the next Chicago Bears head coach. Like always, comment down below in the comment section and let me know. Do you think Brian Daboll would be a really good fit as the next Chicago Bears head coach, and do you think he would be a good fit for Justin Fields? But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.